80-kilogram division for men, for a contest between boxers from Togo and Kazakhstan. The man from Togo is 27-year-old Prewa Padabadi. His opponent is 23-year-old Nurbek Oralbay of Kazakhstan, representative of the powerhouse Central Asian boxing nation, and comes to the ring as the reigning world champion at 80 kilograms. More on that in a moment as we see the 5 scoring judges from Algeria, Estonia, the United States of America, Sri Lanka and Azerbaijan. So our third man in the ring is Mr. Mats Peter Olander of Sweden, bringing both boxers together for the final instructions. So we're underway then. 80-kilogram action in the men's competition. Oh, terrific punch picking from the boxer in blue, and that is the reigning world champion, the man who took gold at the World Championships in the Uzbekistan capital of Tashkent last year. I was ringside to commentate on that tournament, and he prevailed over the incredibly competitive Tuahete Urbieke Tangliatan of China in the final. But then at the subsequent Asian Games, the first Continental Olympic qualifiers, he lands another sumptuous left-right once again. Padabadi continuing to press forwards and looking to overcome that disparity in faces. But look at how Oralbay is able to use his range and reach and picking off his advancing opponent with a buckshot full of punches. Look at that combination, sending Padabadi tottering backwards. Nothing wrong with the man from Togo's desire, but if his chin continues to get touched up like that as he lands an overhand right of his own, well, I'm not sure he's going to make it through to the final bell, because he's being hit often and flush by the accurate punch pickers, by the accurate punches picked from Oralbay.
Oralbay is just boxing beautifully here.
Terrific left-right once again.
He just can't miss.
Padabadi continuing to press, not really paying much or having much regard for the defensive side of the game. His chin an open target, and Oralbay repeatedly helping himself. It looks as though Padabadi is putting all his store into landing terrific and explosive overhand right, but look at the amount he's taking in the meantime to get into his own punching range. So a minute remaining in this opening round.
I'm surprised Padabadi still stood up after taking those shots.
Again, really loading up on all of his punches is Padabadi. There is a gap in experience between these two boxers. Oralbay, in the face of these marauding attacks, just maintaining a gap between himself and his more compact opponent. Again, the exertions of Padabadi audible as he loaded up on that left hook on the disengagement. And again, scoring without reply is Oralbay, using his legs beautifully to avoid the haymakers being launched by Padabadi. Left jab is a stinging shot from the reigning world champion. Heads come together rather forcefully. 10-second clapper is sounded, and again, big swing and a miss with the backhand from Padabadi. Did get through with a left hand on that occasion, but he's tagged with a right cross right at the end of its reach by the reigning world champ as the bell sounds to conclude the first. Well, he's eschewing the stool is Prewa Padabadi, but he's conceded the first round unanimously, and I wonder whether that nick beneath the right eye of Nurbek Oralbay was caused by the clash of heads at the end of the round.
I think it might have been.
Because with no disrespect intended to Padabadi, he really didn't land shots on a consistent basis. There was a successful cluster from Padabadi, but this is where he spent the majority of the contest on the end of Oralbay's straight punches.
Yeah, beautiful work from Oralbay there. Beautiful punch position.
So into the second round we go. You may be asking, how has a reigning world champion found himself here at a global qualification event? How come he didn't progress through the continental route? Well, that's because at the Asian Games, which was the continental qualifier for the continent of Asia in Hangzhou, as Padabadi comes marauding forwards once again. I was ringside to commentate on that tournament, and Oralbay lost to the man he bested in the final as a left hook just gets Oralbay's attention. So Padabadi remaining dangerous as he's going in search of a single shot KO, and that is the epitome of what Oralbay needs to do. Use his legs to remain out of the way of those muscular hooks and haymakers that are being slung in from the man, by the man from Togo.
Yeah, he really does. He needs to be careful. Even though he's not as technically skilled, there's still a lot of power in those punches. And as we've seen already today, get hit by a heavy shot and it can all be over.
So having come up short after being bested by Tuahete Urbieki Tangliatan, split decision in the preliminary rounds of the Asian Games. That is how the world champion has found himself acquiring a second bite at Olympic qualification, as Padabadi letting heavy leather fly once again with Oralbay pinned to the ropes. And again, we stand in awe of the chin possessed by Padabadi, because he's been scored upon frequently in this round as well. But so determined is he to get into range to land his own heavy punches. The head of Padabadi just seemed to clash with that of Oralbay once again. He must be in tremendous condition to absorb the punches that he's taken and continue to come forward with the same speed, desire and intensity, just in search of a single shot finish or a combination finish to get his man out of there. Conceded the first round, 10-9 unanimously for all of the 5 judges. And he's on the way to being outboxed here, but he has shown flashes of the danger that he possesses as he's put on the end of a spearing 1-2 once again. Here's a darting left jab from the world champ, followed by a left-right combination, who's using the space of the ring beautifully here now, causing Padabadi to totter towards the neutral corner turnbuckle after being made to miss.
Yeah, he really has. Padabadi's chin. There's boxers I know that would pay for his chin to be able to take a punch like that. Unbelievable, and he hasn't given up neither. He's still coming forward and still trying to win.
Well, for my money, that's another round in the book for Nurbek Oralbay, the reigning world champion, but he will know that he has been in a fight with 6 minutes completed. And one of the scores returned 10-8 for the judge from the United States of America in that second round. That was an indication of the gap that exists between them from a technical and skill standpoint, but this man epitomizing a fighter, because he keeps on coming and his determination and desire burning as brightly as ever, looking for the finishing shot, and every punch thrown with bad intention, such as that left hook there.
Yeah, he's never given up all the way through these last 2 rounds.
Again, when you're being outscored to the extent that Padabadi is, it can have a discouraging effect. Head can drop, shoulders can slump, but those signs of negative or poor body language not evident in the work of Prewa Padabadi, the 27-year-old from Togo, into the sport of the sweet science from kickboxing, as he looks for a right hand to the body, left hook over the top. Well, I don't think I've ever seen that before, Nicola. The man found himself between the ropes, and so while he was technically outside of the ring, he was still throwing punches. And again, that testament to the man's spirit. He just wants to let his hands go and land leather on muscle and bone. Oh, that's a terrific shot once again from Oralbay. It's not quite target practice for the reigning world champion, but he's keeping a very dangerous, determined opponent at bay for the most part by good use of the legs and then crackingly picked punches like that backhand, catching the advancing opponent.
Yeah, Padabadi is definitely not letting him have his way and have this fight easy. He's made him work the whole way through.
Again, even though both boxers operating at 80 kilograms, there's another long-range left-right combination crashes home for Oralbay. Entirely different physiques. There's another left jab and 3 jabs without reply from Oralbay before the left-right to the body is short from Padabadi. Padabadi looked like a player from the rugby field or a running back in the NFL. Remarkable physique for an 80-kilogram boxer. Oh my goodness. He put everything behind that right cross. And that left-right, which was altogether more direct, as was the subsequent left-right in a 2-phase attack. And he did find success with his right hands when they were straighter.
Yeah, he really did. He really did. He's definitely kept this fight exciting and kept Oralbay on his toes and thinking the whole way through. Hasn't had a chance to, command the ring and take his time and pick his shots. He's really had to keep thinking in there.
Again, because there is a gap in experience between these two in terms of the international bouts contested and the accomplishments garnered. Padabadi illustrating why this is such a beautiful sport, because there are very few barriers to entry. And if you have the heart to compete and the desire to not give in when things get tough, well, as we've seen already today, it can take just a single shot. Now, I don't think there's any such thing as a lucky punch, as Oralbay scores with a left-right once again. Padabadi continuing to remain in there and keep this one interesting. Beautiful darting jabs up on his toes from Oralbay. Padabadi running out of time, but he kept fighting from opening bell to last despite being comprehensively outboxed over the course of the contest. Have to give credit to Prewa Padabadi from Togo, because against the reigning world champion from Kazakhstan, there was not any sign of bad body language being betrayed from his posture. He kept punching, kept competing all the way through the contest. But I think this is going to be a pretty easy one for the public address announcer to declare. And that would be that Nurbek Oralbay is a unanimous point decision victor over Prewa Padabadi of Togo.
Reading game, and the winner by points unanimous decision is the blue corner representing Kazakhstan.
And there is confirmation of a unanimous point decision win. Barely any emotion betrayed on the face of Nurbek Oralbay, because he knows that his objective is to make it through to the quarter-final stage and progress. He's taken a step closer to that target by progressing to the round of 16. And what a wonderful experience for Prewa Padabadi. And he was a quarter-finalist in the African Olympic qualifying event in Dakar in Senegal last year, here in his second Olympic qualification tournament. Has had the misfortune, because of the luck of the draw, to be to face off against the reigning world champion. But as a competitor, he will have relished this challenge, but just not enough experience to deal with the vast experience of the reigning world champ.
Yeah, great boxing there by Oralbay. He just kept his composure under pressure the whole fight. Wasn't allowed to just coast his way through the fight. Kept his man under control and did enough to win it.
Picked up a nick to his right eye, but taking all 3 rounds, 10-9 for 4 of